My understanding and the main reason why we had these talks was that there was a period when we witnessed certain social uprising. And the main reason, as I understand at that time, was the question of the cost of living. There are other structural issues politically that may have led us to where we found ourselves. But the main issue was really to look at the cost of living. And I think the fact that the political class and those that were engaged in this dialogue were unable to put the country above their political considerations, for me, is something that I find perhaps underwhelming, but not surprising. Mm-hmm. If you look at the kind of position that we are in, the shilling is on a free fall.
Yeah.
The businesses that rely on imports are unable to import at a cost that can make their goods and services to be competitive. We have a high rate of taxation, which is hurting businesses. And so the consequences of the actions that have been taken by the government has affected largely the youthful population in this country. Now, when you look at the number of the youth in this country and the challenges that then this causes and how they are impacted by the various decisions that have been taken, then you begin to understand the frustration that actually led to the agitation. Yeah. So whereas the initial call may have been made by politicians for purposes of advancing certain political agenda, it got to a point where the maandamano, so to speak, were owned by the people. Yeah. And it was owned by the people because of the various difficulties that they were undergoing at that particular time. So if you look at the question of the cost of living, there is a report that comes out to say on some of these things we could not agree. Yeah. Which is okay because, again, questions regarding discussions around Finance Act are going to be settled and determined by the court tomorrow. But I think I expected some sort of acknowledgement that there needs to be a rethink on some of these things and how they have been done. Okay. So if you compare that, for example, Trevor, with the agreement to expand the selection panel for IEBC, you can see that it was very easy for that to get consensus, but the questions on cost of living became problematic.
Same as NGCDF.
Yes, the questions on entrenching some of these funds, which the courts have already spoken on in terms of their unconstitutionality, found favor. The questions of establishment of certain office, which go against our constitutional architecture, and which would then necessitate a referendum, which comes at a time when IEBC has not even been reconstituted, or immediately after the reconstitution of IEBC, when it has such a short time to prepare for all that. and the likely divisions that some of that may cause, and the probability that there might be ensuing legislation to challenge some of those things, shows where the focus in terms of this discussion.
So in the end, this conversation was never really about the people?
It was never about the people. In my view, it was more of finding political accommodation